Can you believe the incredible history of the Goosebumps franchise? If you grew up in the 90s, you probably would not be thinking that people would be talking about a Goosebumps series in 2023. But Disney has brought the franchise back for TV during the Halloween season and has captured families everywhere. Many are saying that it pulls in the nostalgia of the old books and shows for the modern family. But why has Goosebumps lived for so long and continues to be so popular? What has set Goosebumps apart from other novels, shows, and movies? Why has the spooky concept captured fans across the world? Goosebumps was a simple book concept that exploded into a media marketing empire. For those who don't know, Goosebumps is a series of horror novels that are aimed at teens created by R.L. Stine. The original series would be 62 books published between 1992 and 1997, with great success and popularity, as the books were written in a very unique fashion, utilizing frightening concepts but features kids or teens dealing with them. On top of the great writing, the beautiful artistry of the covers would pull fans in wanting to purchase them. To get an understanding of the popularity of Goosebumps, we must first understand the author, Robert Lawrence Stine, aka R.L. Stine, who many call the Stephen King of children's literature. Growing up, Stine would read Tales from the Crypt and cited as a reason behind him wanting to write these books. After graduating from Ohio State in 1965, this is where he would fall in love with writing as the editor for The Sundial, a humor magazine in Ohio. After his time at school, he would move to New York to pursue a writing career. Stine actually began his career focusing on fun and humor, writing humor books, and even creating a humor magazine called Bananas. He did this all using the author name Jovial Bob Stine, and would have his works published by Scholastic. Scholastic published 72 issues of his magazine from 1975 to 1984. Stine would also work as an editor for many other authors during this time period as well. By 1986, Stine began dipping his toes into the world of horror with his first novel called Blind Date. The late 80s would also allow him to dip into the world of other media, co-creating Eureka's Castle. The predecessor of the Goosebumps books would be his line The Fear Street books in 1989, but by 1992, R.L. Stine created the Goosebumps series, which would completely change the world of media and literature for kids and teens. The one thing when developing his Goosebumps series that set it apart from other works in the horror thriller genre is the fact he wanted to add humor. Being someone who spent a majority of his life thus far working in the field of humor writing, he wanted to add something different. Adding humor to Goosebumps set them apart for teens and kids. In July 1992, Stine would release his first novel in the Goosebumps series, Welcome to Deadhouse. Welcome to Deadhouse would sell well over 1 million copies by 1996. It was such a unique concept at the time that it brought in more children and teen readers than expected. Another reason why many believe this first novel and the subsequent novels would have success is the fact that it was from a kid's viewpoint, meaning it featured the fact that adults discounted the kids' experiences, which was and still is something that many kids go through. The other aspect that made this first book and the other successful was the plots. Many of these plots typically focused on diverse characters from middle-class suburban backgrounds, which many kids could put them in their positions as it was a growing demographic in the US during the 90s. Over time, the books would change and develop from the original series. However, the overall concept would always stay the same: a spooky or supernatural experience occurring to a child or group of kids, written in first person with a twist ending. This style and structure is what kept people on the edge of their seats when reading the novel series. He also ensured that there would never be any deaths, drugs, violence, or kids in serious situations. Overall, his structure and style is what made the book series work. On top of this, the ease of writing is what also made the series so successful and easy to pump out as an author. It is said that Stine would be able to get the books done in less than a week. For his books, he would take inspiration from everyday life, other literature, or even literary classics. Though the books were not the only thing that propelled the success of the franchise and the growth of Stine's wealth. Through his connections in the world of media, he was able to build out his universe into different realms. The success of the books in the 90s would naturally lead to a Goosebumps TV series that was produced by Protocol Entertainment and Scholastic Productions. The series would run from 1995 to 1998, utilizing an anthology series style, meaning you could watch the show in any order. The show would properly and successfully translate the books, becoming the #1 rated children's show in the US. The show premiered on October 27, 1995 on Fox Kids Network. The reason behind the deal was Margaret Loesch, CEO of Fox Kids, offered a deal after her son reacted positively to one of the books. The show and books would lead to merchandise and video games being created. The 1996 game Goosebumps, Escape from Horrorland, and 1997 Goosebumps, Attack of the Mutant would have great success building out the Goosebumps universe further. In the 90s, throughout schools across America, you could see merchandise, toys, and books in schools. If you could think of an item, there was a good chance the Goosebumps logo would be placed on it. The popularity of the books, merchandise, and show, it would even lead to an attraction being created at Disney MGM Studios in October 1997. The attraction would transform different books and aspects, developing it into the Goosebumps Horrorland Fright Show and Funhouse. Families loved the idea of Goosebumps books coming alive in the theme parks. The 90s was truly the golden era for the Goosebumps in terms of sales and popularity. The book would sell a few millions a month and 4 million copies by the mid-1990s. The books would appear on the New York Times bestseller list for kids, and in 2001, Publishers Weekly listed the 46 books as the best-selling kids' books of all time. At its peak, the books would account for 15% of Scholastic's annual revenue. R.L. Stine was essentially the bloodline of Scholastic in the 90s. When the book sales decreased, it would lead to a sales drop of 40% for Scholastic. One writer influenced an entire company's direction. Throughout the 2000s, various different versions and re-releases of Stine's Goosebumps would be released, continuing to have overall success for the franchise, leading to the books being a top in sales. By October 2022, the book series became the second best-selling behind the Harry Potter series, with 400 million copies sold. The success of the books would lead to 2 movies being produced in 2015 and 2018 by Sony. Most recently, Disney Plus has produced a show which has become popular among teens and young adults. The show continues to help build upon this overall success of the Goosebumps franchise. It seems as though these books will live on forever in culture and media. Still to this day, the book series and franchise has brand awareness among kids 7 through 12. The growing popularity of nostalgia-based films and shows may lead to more growth for Goosebumps. It seems everything featuring the 90s is popping up more and more. What are your thoughts on Goosebumps? What do you think are the next steps for the franchise? A theme park land again, another movie, more shows? Let us know what you think. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and follow. Believable Truths.